There's something moving in the water. And realised with horror, it's a yabby, a freshwater crayfish. As if things hadn't been bizarre enough up to this point, this guy's nipping away at my foot. And I feel like now, like I'm living in some kind of horror movie. Well, I grabbed a branch from behind me and just started spearing it, trying to take this guy out. What made it even worse was that I couldn't feel anything, and that he could have been there for hours. You know? He could have been there all day.
It's been 35 hours since the boulder fell on Warren. Geert made it down off the mountain after the worst night of his life. But he still has 10 miles of dense rainforest to cross to reach the ferry and radio for help.
Everything was sore, I was bleeding, wounds all over the place. That was just hell. I felt more tired by the second, by the minute.
Geert is spent. He emerges exhausted from the jungle and back onto the coastal trail.
On my knees and started vomiting. Straight away dawned on me to keep going and not to sit down and start thinking. There was still no time for that. The next task was to make it to where the ferry departs from.
Geert wills himself on to finish his life or death marathon, but then a terrible thought hits him.
That I thought, which authority is going to believe me, and how are they going to get a rescue party up here if I come along, because they won't believe me.
Despite his worries, at least Geert has made it in time to meet the ferry, and his fears are unfounded.
The ferry captain, from the very second that he saw my eyes, he knew that some serious thing had happened.
Yeah, copy that. Just stand by. Mate, the rescue services are on their way.
Thank you.
They want you to wait on the beach.
Warren is still with the living, but it's getting harder to hold it together.
I noticed spots on my right foot and knew that wasn't a good sign. The thought crossed my mind that I would lose that foot, and I thought, don't even go there.
An hour passed. I looked to my bow and I just did not want to take my eyes off it anymore.
Inside the chopper is Dr. Chip Jaffers, an American trauma specialist working with the Australian Search and Rescue Services.
The doctor was very calm, looked at me and he said, "Hi, we will go up now, and where do you think that we can find him?"
We had to make a guess that what we would take would be something adequate to lift the boulder off, and perhaps material to do an amputation if we couldn't get the boulder up. We weren't sure where we were going, what we would find.
Right about now, I've all but given up. You know, I'm convinced that something's happened to Geert, and I'm basically just waiting to die.
Geert struggles to get his bearings from the air.
Yo, left there! To the left, go to the left. You copy that? That's where we went back. This is close.
Helicopter's still one of my favourite sounds.
I see his arm! I can see his arm! He's okay! Now listen, we're gonna take you back to the beach. We're gonna drop you there, and we're gonna come get him. Okay? Okay.
And I felt really happy and warm. All my tiredness was gone for a few minutes.
There is some kind of hope for me now. But I just felt so tired and so drained. I knew that I was nowhere near out of the danger zone yet.
The medics drop Geert back at the beach to wait for a second helicopter and head back up the mountain for Warren.
I think we appreciated early on that because this is a very narrow ravine with trees hanging over it, there wasn't even a place to really bring the helicopter in, and we were going to have to go down on wires. Even if you've had years of experience doing this, you don't approach a landing like that without fear and trepidation.
I was at the end. I was at the end of the rope. And I start to slip in and out of consciousness. With that pure joy, if you like, that pure relief of not having to hold it all together alone anymore, comes this sense where I just want to lie back and not really give up. It's almost like surrendering that role to somebody else.
This is the critical moment for survivors. Often, at the point of rescue, many, feeling a sense of relief, let down their guard, and then they die.
I had the clear impression he was dead when I approached him under the boulder. I thought, this is really over with. There's not much to be done. He says something to the effect, you know.
I'm glad to see you.
You know, then okay, then I knew we were there. I knew we were going to be able to do something.
How long you been here? I don't know. Now, are you allergic to any drugs? What? Take anything you can give me. Okay.
As Chip assesses Warren's medical condition, the second team arrive with hydraulic jacks and wooden blocks to lift the boulder.
Now, we got some equipment to take the boulder off, but it's going to be a slow process. You just hang in there, okay? Now, you hold this. Keep it under your arm, okay? Right, that's it. Keep the pressure on, otherwise you'll be losing fluid.
Warren is in as much danger now as at any point in his ordeal. A deadly cocktail of toxins has formed in the blood-starved tissues of his legs. When the boulder is lifted, these toxins could flood out of his legs and poison his body. His blood pressure can crash, and his vital organs fail. This is what's known as crush syndrome, and it could easily kill him.
I would say for the normal mortal man, I would have expected him to die. Honestly. If not fairly immediately, perhaps when we were to remove the boulder.
To combat the effects of crush syndrome, Chip injects Warren with a massive shot of adrenaline. hoping it will constrict his blood vessels and raise his blood pressure.